Hello, friends, and welcome to an adventure of the sort you're never going to forget and always going to remember. The kind of life-changing experience that you'll say to your kids, boy, that was life-changing. I want to reset the meow, reset. There you go. Just like they do in the old British Isles. There we go. And Muggy and meow. And here we go. And a little bit like this. A little bit like this. And it seems as though this is a little bit large. Hi, babe. Oh, I know, I'm in the wrong spot. That's why. I'm in the wrong spot. Okay, I get it now. Finally, I'm beginning to understand what it means to be alive. To be alive, to be living, to not be dead, and to be alive. All of those things, and more, can be yours if the price is right. See, I want... well, I guess I'm stuck with that one. Okay, fine. I guess I am stuck with that one. Am I hearable? Can I be heard? Am I fearable like a turd? Am I steerable like a curd? Is easily steered by American diplomats into opposing Saddam Hussein? I guess I just need this, really. Okay, so put this over here. Like so. No, don't get big. There. Okay, so, what are we talking about today? Well, today we're talking about big dreams and small lives. So, I don't expect myself to live stream quite as long tonight as sometimes I often do. But of course, my expectations regarding what I'm going to do are highly, highly unreliable. Or at least I guess I should say very poor predictors of, yeah, whatever it is. I'm going to bring this up again. I want to check my audio settings. Why do the people are always contacting me? Why does my phone always make noise? It's so annoying. Stop making noise, phone. Okay, how's that? Is that a little bit better? Is the audio a little bit better? It is, isn't it? The audio is better now, isn't it? Do you feel like, wow, Eric, you know what? You really made a change for the better there. And I know that I, as an audience member, really feel cared for. I'm assuming that's how everybody thinks about this. Now, what's interesting, of course, is you should see roadwork signs behind me. But I don't see such roadwork signs because I've used the chroma filter on the display capture rather than on the video capture, and I've just had my camera up here on in front of my desktop. So I actually want to talk about this subject of big dreams and small lives because I'm watching a show called Black Clover, and this show it's about a boy who, his name is Asta, A-S-T-A, and he wants to be the Wizard King, but he doesn't have any magic, and he's continually mocked for this aspiration as being ridiculous. He can't possibly can't possibly attain the goal he keeps insisting he's going to attain. This is a common theme in Japanese animation, actually, but for the first time today, I realized, oh, I totally identify with that. You know? In a couple of ways. So I make claims about cognitive functions and my relationship to the study of the matter that people find outrageous and difficult to believe, and a lot of times they'll find it offensive in some way. So, now granted, that's not an aspirational claim. I'm going to start with this non-aspirational one. That's a claim of accomplishment that people don't like. You know, well, you can't claim the status to have figured this thing out because there's no consensus on it yet, and it's unlikely there to be consensus, and yada 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 yada. So you've got big ideas about yourself, Eric, but that just smacks of delusion to me. So that's one area in which I receive this kind of thing. But the other areas, of course, most analogously, is when I tell people I'm going to be president or I'm running for president. What I find most odd about that, when I do that, when I make that statement to people who have not heard me make it before, is how few people celebrate the notion right off the bat. Just how almost never is it the case that people come in thinking, when I hear somebody say something like that, that indicates something good about them, right? So, another thing that made me want to type this title or put this title in for this live stream is because, so there's a couple areas where I identify with the main character who is making claims that other people think are outrageous and whose claims often offend other people by their brashness, basically, rather than because they're so inherently wrong with it. It makes me think that we're in a world in which when people express ambitions and or self-concept that's unburdened by fear and insecurity and stuff, that others don't quite know what to do with it in general. You'll note we all have pretty much small lives. This is something we forget even, when we're talking about, let's say, the president or some superstar celebrity actor person. They too have small lives. Despite the fact that their big dreams may have come true, their lives are still the same size as everybody else's. And the thing is, I think we internalize the notion that if we attain big enough dreams, then our lives cease to be small. But the actuality, in my opinion, is that we're all ultimately stuck being the same. That is to say, we're all stuck in our day-to-day experiences with a certain number of minutes and hours in the day, and every single person on the planet sits down and takes a dump at some point, and every person on the planet goes, oh, I need to eat, or goes, I'm tired, or whatever. Every person on the planet is going to feel some sort of emotional distress in moments, and some sort of confidence, and so forth. So the thing is, there is a natural resistance in the world towards those who would aggrandize themselves. And certainly that makes some sense, because to aggrandize oneself is to say, I am better than others. And the world has a natural resistance towards flights of fancy, I guess you might say. In other words, I've been told many, many times by many people that I'm not being realistic. I'm not being honest about the way things work with myself. That I should start off at a lower political office and try to win that first. I have been told every reason imaginable why my run for presidency will not work. I've been told every reason imaginable why my run for presidency is indicative of some form of delusion. I've been told the same thing about my claims regarding cognitive functions and my role in the solving of the thing. I read something today that said he's oddly confident, is what it said. Oddly confident about his position on cognitive functions. And then it proceeded to say I was wrong anyway. But I think what the person was picking up on there is, when he said oddly confident, that means I'm both confident and right. That's what's odd. It's pretty unusual for people who are very careful to not be wrong to also be confident in what they say as in terms of what's right. Because being very careful to not be wrong tends to make one err on the side of avoiding being wrong, and that means you're going to take fewer chances with statements that might be disproved. You're going to make more limited claims. Well, here I am making a bunch of bold claims. People who make bold claims like that, by and large, usually are overstating things, are wrong, are being provocative, or some other thing like that. But the reality is, I make claims that are both limited and bold. And to the extent that they are more bold than limited, it's because that's what I can substantiate. It's also a matter of understanding the difference between making statements about how things are in general and making statements about yourself. Each of us have within our power the ability to define ourselves to ourselves. But it's not something we can really willfully do. It's something that we grow in over time. For somebody who's FI-polar like me, the challenge is always between I guess you'd say remembering the larger frames of reference while concurrently being me. So it's like, in other words, how do I be super confident in myself while concurrently recognize the legitimacy of alternate frames of reference? One would think that, with increased certainty in one direction becomes a decreased openness to alternative perspectives. And there would seem to be some logic to that. But it depends what you're certain about, right? So I'm certain about I'm very comfortable being Eric now. I'm certain that I'm not going to be bamboozled or caught off guard on some structural level. I'm certain that I'm not subject to any kind of attacks that are more than case level attacks. So I'm not worried about losing a battle where I'm going to cascade down and take a lot of long-term ontological damage from that. To put that into more real life terms, I guess the reason I can be bold in my claims about my understanding of cognitive functions is because the longer I've been talking about it, the more convinced I become that I'm absolutely correct. The more examples I have of others trying to dispute it unsuccessfully, and the better my holistic understanding and therefore frame of reference regarding the matter is. So I understand it a lot better now than I did when I started this. There's different ways in which one can intellectually model and or represent something. I am definitely thirsty. I need a little bit of a beverage. Perhaps a sip of this juice will do. For the moment. Although it won't tide me over for long, I don't think. Oh, I never changed the thumbnail on this, huh? I need to do that. Alright, well let me do it like this then. I'm gonna change the thumbnail on this. Piao? Piao? Piao. 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 And bam! Yeah. Look at me go. Errors all around. Errors for everyone. Error does not compute. Error does not compute. Okay, so let's see. Winston's mom says, Freddie Forgiato, my day was productive and I feel very adultish after all my paperworking today. What finals are you studying for? Want some links, cliff notes, or video references? Winter. ENTPs can be great leaders if they have the right associates and executors and financiers. Otherwise, they continue leading themselves only. Let's see. Well, I think it's very important to remember that leadership occurs in lots of contexts and at different levels. So, as a coach, I've had multiple national champions. And I've led my team to winning School of Excellence awards in both debate and speech and overall. I've had lots of former students tell me that I've been an amazing influence in their lives, and so forth. So there's one form of leadership. And of course, it's easy for people to want to reduce people to a single manifestation and want that to limit them, to put them in a certain box or whatever. But it's really important to note that if you allow yourself to think that you need to have associates and executors and financiers before you can lead, then you will never lead. And that's true for everybody. Leadership doesn't work like that. Let's see. ENTPs are inherently moved towards altruistic facilitation. I think so too in general. I don't know if this is true of all ENTPs or if it's more true of me. I would tend to agree with that statement. By great What did you say? Great? Oh, great leaders. I see. So you're not talking about the quality of the leadership. You're talking about the um, scope of the impact, I guess. So by that definition, Hitler would be a great leader. Okay. The subjects are American judicial process, lying, politics, law, and justice. The subjects of what? Oh, I see. Things you have to do, you have to work on. Okay, well, I mean, by those definitions, I don't have any aspirations to be a great leader, and I don't think it's a good thing to be. So, in other words, attaining a large amount of impact without scruples is, in my opinion, does not comprise real leadership. Whether people follow you or not. That, inciting a riot and leadership are different things. Gaslighting a population and leadership are different things. Now you might say, well, that's just an arbitrary distinction. There's not any real difference besides you're favoring one and not favoring the other. Well, I would say, no, there is a real distinction. Absolutely there is. It's the same real distinction that exists between the truth and lies. The same real distinction that exists between autonomy and authority. The same real distinction that exists between lots of things in the world. Okay, well, but Winter, of course, it doesn't matter what example I threw in there. Your point is that a great leader is determined by the scale of their impact, or the scope, or the breadth of it, right? So my point would be, oh, okay, well then, ENTPs would be smart to not aspire to great leadership by that definition. They should instead aspire to morally good leadership, and allow their sense of duty to direct them as to exactly where and how that's going to manifest. So, unfortunately, Winter, your statement there, Hitler received a lot of training, which means he likely was a front man like Obama, who they propped up in public. I mean, even if that's just, I mean, the ridiculousness in what you're doing there is at least threefold, right? On the first hand, you're informing us of a fact that he received a lot of training, not indicating from whom or in what, and that means he's a front man. For whom, we're not sure. Well, we learn soon enough, like Obama, a front man like Obama, they propped up. Oh, it's they. Those are the ones who we're talking about. And of course, then you've got another implied mythology here that we're supposed to accept as fact or something, or be frustrated by or provoked by or whatever. That seems that Obama was not actually operating autonomously as a human being and an individual like all the rest of us do, but instead was somehow being controlled by a secret cabal of meows. So this is what I call bad thinking, Winter. And it's bad thinking for a number of reasons. I mean, first and foremost, it's bad thinking because you know from your own experience that everybody you know and yourself operates autonomously. They get influenced by various parties around them to a greater or lesser degree, but it's very difficult to find person Mia who is consistently representing and obeying the will of person Mia. You know, there's inherent pushback between humans. They don't share the same vision. So, I was a debater. I was, so everybody who was on the speech team is potentially suspect that they might be behind it. Anybody who's on the debate team? Is that what you mean by training? So let's see what Zandy's up to. Oh, Zandy, when you came and you said you were meow meow. Zandy says, your comment made me smile. Very much needed today. As it seems, the storm cloud will not leave me alone, and it's made a home in my universe. Are you feeling blue, Zandy? I'm sorry you're feeling blue. I feel blue sometimes too. Okay, but Winter, you seem to be avoiding everything I say. So the point is, regardless of that stuff about your poor rhetorical approach, true or not, you did a bad job of how to make your arguments. In other words, pretending like facts not in evidence are in fact facts and evidence is just being rhetorically weak and avoidant. So you know, it's like you're not going to frame walk anybody and fool them into thinking like, okay, well, yeah, let's operate under those assumptions. And be honest in your argumentation, number one. But regardless, you need to remember what we're talking about. I'm saying if that's your definition of a great leader, I don't want to be a great leader. And your original claim about ENTP's capacity to be great leaders, linking to these other things, I've disputed that with one warrant already, which is that's not the case. Leadership can occur without that completely. And I talked about leadership at a smaller scale. And you said, oh, well, that leadership doesn't count as great leadership. I'm only talking about big leadership. And then I say, well, then nobody should aspire to that. People should aspire to moral leadership and allow their duty to direct them towards the scope of the leadership that they wish to attain. You ignored everything I said. You know? Winter, you are not responding to things I say. You keep talking about other things. It's like, I hate it when people ignore me. Because I don't ignore them. You know, it's like, I actually respond to what they're saying. Alright, so let's go back here and see what else is going on. I agree with you, though, about the difference between me and Obama. The difference between me and Obama is Obama believed the following thing. If I can play the game and get elected, then I can start really doing good. You know, I can really start exercising my will as a president. But I have to play the game first, which means I can't try to win this election by explaining to everybody why I'm the most correct about everything and why it's in the best interest of the country to vote for me, not just over this opponent here, but over any prospective opponent. For the following reasons. And he's not saying, listen, I understand everything here that we need to do, blah, blah. And why is he not saying that? Well, because he didn't understand anything. He went the FE approach. He said, I'm going to do this via FE and assume that once I get into office, I'll be able to TI my way through it then. Well, what happened? He developed a bunch of FE skills. Turned out he wasn't ready to have any of those arguments once he got up there. Why? He hadn't framed them out ahead of time. He was great for speeches. People called him a good debater. But he had not done any groundwork in the narratives, right? By the time I get elected president, people will be so sick of hearing all of the shit I have to say about policy, politics, how we need to approach things, what comprises adequate discourse and what does not. And, you know, it's like news reporters, if I can get successfully big enough, I can get people to interview me and stuff, news reporters will be skittish when they go to interview me. Because I am likely to shame them for their inadequately adult approach to politics. You know? We're not playing partisan nonsense. Stop it. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter
if it's conservative or liberal or whatever. If you want to talk about the specific policy and why it will or will not work, well, conservatives object. No. Don't use that bad language. Say, there are people who object, or name one who objects, but don't label them with your label. That's the problem. There are many people who disagree with me who also don't agree with the label you put on them. So, and to cut to the chase, I will make all the best arguments against what I'm saying right now. I'll lay them all out for you. These are all the best arguments against what I'm saying. The things you're presenting me as possible arguments against are garbage. Do a decent job of representing the opposition. That's what reporters face from me. Totally different universe, huh? What the hell happened to politics? Eric showed up. Well, what's so different about him? He's the first person, as far as I can tell, that's garnered any sort of large attention. This is presuming I do, who talks about politics, who actually seems to understand what he's talking about. It's a shock. It's a shock to the system. Because remember, most people who are nonpartisan are purportedly middle of the road. In other words, they are nonpartisan because they are moderates, because they think about being pragmatic rather than partisan or agenda-driven. True, but that primarily because they think the middle ground is better. I am not making that advocacy. I am not a moderate, and I don't think the middle ground is better. So you're an extremist, Eric? Nope. Not an extremist either. Both moderate and extremist go into the question from the wrong frame of reference. I should not know the general rule for how I'm going to respond to a given piece of policy, prescribed or passed or whatever, and then make my decision according to that general rule. In this instance, that's not a good idea. So what you're saying is, declare your agenda first so we know how you're going to act in any given situation. My agenda is anti-agenda, and it's anti-ideology, and you can know how I'm going to act in any given situation. I'm going to act in the way that's in the best interest of the country, that's most consistent with both principled and utilitarian calculi, that takes into consideration all the different frames of reference, and that makes a defensible conclusion about what's best, and presents all the arguments as to why I made that decision. Justifies them. The thing is, NE is easy, NI is hard. But NI is the backhand that makes your tennis game work. Let's say NE is the forehand, and you're great at it. But what's your greatest risk then? You're going to run around your backhand so that you hit everything forehand. Ultimately, it's going to kill you. If you want to become a master tennis player, you have to incorporate the backhand where appropriate. You're going to incorporate it less than the forehand, and you're not going to choose it when you have the choice. But where appropriate, you're going to incorporate it, and all of a sudden you'll go from number 147 in the world to number 2 or something. Well, all I did was add one thing. All you did was become comfortable with the parts of your game that are weaker, but absolutely critically necessary to making you optimal. NI is the difference between a winning ENTP and a losing ENTP in debate. It's exactly what I'm trying to develop in my student right now. He takes too long to explain the warrant and the impact. I say, it's very straightforward, Jeffrey. what was the point I was trying to argue? It's a preferable alternative. You're not trying to claim the impacts from the preferable alternative outweigh the impacts from the AF. Instead, you're saying that if we do the AF, since it's exclusive of the preferable alternative, we will eliminate the option to do the preferable alternative forever. And that judge is a voter, which means its only impact is we vote against him so we don't rush into something big, stupidly fast, and destroy a much better opportunity along the way. So that's an NI nutshell of a lot of complex argumentation. And the reason I can nutshell so well right now is because I practiced doing it with him and trying to get him to do it the other night. What things are being argued in those couple of sentences? A lot of information is being conveyed, right? A lot of information. It's saying that in this debate, it tells you what's happened there is Party A is advocating a federal jobs guarantee. Party B says we shouldn't do a federal jobs guarantee. We should do a UBI instead. And then says, look, and then the other person says, well, even if you can't measure those impacts, we can't weigh the impacts of a UBI against the impacts of a federal job guarantee to see which is better. Because in order to pass this affirmation, I don't need to have the perfect thing or the absolute best thing. I just need to have solvency. In other words, it needs to be overall a good idea, factoring everything in. And then the opponent is saying, well, I'm not saying a UBI, you should vote for me because you get a UBI. I know, we vote for you, you get a federal jobs guarantee. You vote for me, you get nothing. You get the status quo. I know that. So why am I showing you about this UBI? Well, because what you do lose if you affirm is the opportunity to do this other alternative. And I'm saying the other alternative is so much better in attaining the same and attaining outcomes of the same sort that you're seeking in the first one, that we should not do the first one so we can preserve the opportunity to do the second one later. So in other words, there's a lot of argumentation, right? And it needs to be nutshell in just a few sentences in a debate round because you've got a limited amount of time. This is one of several chains of argumentation on the flow that's going on concurrently, or in succession actually, not concurrently, but and you don't have either the time nor the luxury of being either long-winded or unclear. So the ENTPs are best perhaps at generating themselves a bunch of different kinds of responses to things, but unless that power is trained and constrained, and they become practiced at concision, nutshelling, then it attains only a fraction of its potential that it can attain when it is properly constrained and trained. So Submerged 2.0 says, explain why Frank James is NIFE. No thanks. I don't really like to have those kind of arguments because there's too little agreement coming into the argument on the framework, and if there's disagreement on the other parties, and then it boils down to, well, I don't agree with your definitions or something like that, and it's just okay. It's too much work to get to where we're even speaking the same language at that point. I've had too many of those arguments. I'm tired of them. And of course, the other thing to note is, and people should remember this, one thing I hope people take away when they they watch this channel at all, are some tricks of noticing tricks that people do and how you should respond to them. So, Submerged 2.0 says, explain why Frank James is NIFE. So he's saying, affirm that Frank James is an INFJ. Well, already there he's trying to framework me, right? He's trying to say, I want you to affirm this resolution. I mean, the first question should actually be, well, what's the status quo? And in the status quo, Frank James is generally assumed to be, self-identifies as, and is generally considered to be, an INFJ. So, it's actually Submerged 2.0 who's changing the status quo, arguing that the status quo is wrong. However, he doesn't want to affirm, so he's limiting it to me, saying I'm wrong. But he's still trying to change the status quo. So normally, the status quo is the side that affirms. The side that changes the status quo is the side that affirms. So it's like, in that instance, then since he's the side that's changing the status quo, he would say the resolution would have to be something like, Frank James is something other than an INFJ, and he'd affirm that. And then I could negate that by simply, it would be a limited affirmation. It would say he's not, it's basically another way of saying he's not an INFJ without putting the word not in there. And then I'd negate it by either saying you failed to establish he's not an INFJ, which would be my advantage then as the neg because it's the Asperger to affirm. Or I would say he is an INFJ and you lose on that reason. He could lose either way in that case. So, Submerged 2.0, if you are serious about wanting to talk to me right now and debate me about something, then let's instead, before we actually debate about something, let's talk about debate ground rules and format and stuff like that, okay? Because remember that everybody who comes to debate me, or engage me in this debate, almost everybody, except for those few who've had competition debate experience, comes in with Dunning-Kruger effect, essentially. And I know people don't want to hear that, and maybe it sounds arrogant or something, but argumentation is a deep, complex, and powerful field to understand and to study. But it is not something that casual internet arguers get. Like, they don't, their self-evaluation is not based on any kind of realistic metric. So anyway, I'm in autonomy right now, and you're welcome to come in here and talk to me if you'd like. And what am I doing wrong? God damn it. This needs to be mad, right? Yeah, obviously. Okay, so here's the thing. And you can come in here and talk to me. But I would suggest that if you want to come in and debate me about something, then expect that we'll need to talk some about what that means before we can actually begin disputing a point. But I'm in there now. You're welcome to come in there. We'll be able to hear you. But if you don't want people to see, if you want people to see you, we'll be able to see you as well. But if you don't, then I'll just stay on this tab. Okay, I'm ready for you to come in here. Submerged 2.0. Let's see. This is concerning. So, in response to that, he says, I am aware of logical fallacies. That's a little concerning. Jose, the elf on the shelf with Mindy received a report today from Santa. There will be incoming Christmas packages. I've been a very good boy. Wow. Santa sent me something? It's amazing. I haven't got anything from Santa in years. I thought he'd forgotten about me. Come on, Submerged 2.0. Let's go. Hurry up. No, I put a link. I said, come talk to me. Let's talk about this. You want to debate me, right? So I'm saying let's set the ground rules for the debate first. Why won't I do that? What do you mean? I'm the one who's suggesting we do that. I'll put the link again in case you missed it. Yeah, I'm definitely not asking anything of you. I absolutely respect reciprocal burdens. You know, what logic I make applies just as much to myself as it does to you. For sure. So come on. Come on. We're waiting. Oh, well, submerged. You know, I kind of thought as much. That's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. Coward. Wants to talk shit from the shadows, right? And says he wants to debate me, but I said, okay, come on, let's go. Yeah, bok indeed. I even offered to not show him on camera at all. It's fine. Just his voice. Nope. Bluffing Eric is a bad idea. It's a silly, ill-informed notion, right? It's like you have to have no knowledge of me whatsoever to think that you're gonna bluff, you know. Not going to work. Talk to Ben. We can figure it out. The fuck? You come in here, you say, yeah. Talk smack. I said, well, come on, let's go. And now you're trying to assign me tasks? I mean, I'll tell you what, Submerged 2.0. Go to Subway, get me a sandwich, bring it over here to my house. As long as we're handing out commands. I mean, the nice thing about commands is they aren't claims, so they're not arguments, so it doesn't require me to respond to them at all. I wanna get tapped by you, the link. I wanna link tap by poo, the brink. I wanna kink a ka koo ka kink. I don't even know who the fuck you are. Submerged 2.0. And regardless, I still need to talk about the ground rules for the debate. I'm not going to allow myself to get dragged into a pointless squabble with somebody who's too scared to even talk to me right now and set the ground rules for the debate. Right? Thus far, you've lost all credibility with me. You can come in here right now and talk to me about the ground rules, then maybe I'll agree to go have the debate on Ben's channel. I would not have had any problem with that if you had opened with that. But now you bought yourself a bed of cactus needles, and it's time for you to lie down in it. Becky, you're such a shame monkey. I think that might be Becky. Anyway, cowards never prosper. Remember the old saying. I was thinking about old sayings in general and how they tell us interesting things about which MBTI is least most susceptible to gaslighting. I mean, to some extent, ENTPs are very susceptible to it because we don't have any FI, so we don't know our own authentic experience, worth, feelings, whatever. But, you know, I think, I don't know if it's Becky or not. If it were, like, you know, the thing is, Becky got, you know, Becky got frantic one day because she couldn't control the frame the way she wanted to, and she emailed my father threatening to sue him and saying a bunch of hateful shit about me in the emails. Most of which had, some of which was completely true, some of which was mostly true. Some of which was just nonsense. But regardless, it was a purposeful effort to both defame me to my father and to frighten my father into turning against me. And even if I would normally defend a person's right to say true but negative things about people, she wasn't careful enough in her emails such that she actually did genuinely defame me. And of course, regardless, just from a personal interest and FI perspective, the person's persona non grata forever, pure sort of enemy of the family forever, because she fucked with my family, and that's really crossing the line. It's just everybody acknowledges that's crossing the line. Especially trying to scare an octogenarian into she's trying to poison the relationships in my family. It's almost adorable because her weak ass poison has no chance of competing against the strength of my family. I'm not at any risk of. It's ridiculous. My father also, he knows me. He knows who I am. He knows what I'm all about. He may be disappointed in it, but it's not like it's a secret. Well, what Wisdom's said there is true. I want to say first, the thing that's true about it most, I want to say is true, is that she doesn't use this word often or go there very often. She says, I think that bringing your father into this simply wicked, I don't use that word often, it's too Broadway cute, but in this case, if the shoe fits, then the Wicked Witch is not Dorothy. The thing is, what I like to say is there's only a couple of people who've gotten persona non grata from my life. You really have to do something pretty awful for me to render you into the you were dead to me category. And Becky's one of those. And who else? Chloe, who destroyed the first Raw channel. And the third one is my ex-boss, Laura Lynn. Those three people are like persona non grata, if metaphorically only, kill on sight, If there were a wanted poster for them, it would say wanted dead or alive, and it would offer a reward, and then you'd get more money for dead than alive. Zandy, don't accuse me of being a smelly rational. If you want to continue, you better be ready for me to call your manager and have a nice long conversation with him. Zandy, I'm so glad you have a manager now. What's he managing you in? Are you managing? Are you a pop star now? Are you Sacramento's hottest pop star? Zandy, I want to manage your music career. Do you sing? I bet I'd be a good manager. Zandy, do you sing? Or do you do stand-up comedy? Is that what you do? Or are you one of those, what do they call it? A five tool baseball player, you know, hitting, fielding, running, throwing, like hitting, catching, running, throwing, and hitting for power. Those are the 5 things. There's an equivalent one for entertainment, like singing, dancing, acting, comedy, and mime. Maybe there's only 4. You know, I don't know. Is miming an equivalent? All over Lionhead. Yeah, that's true. I bet I'd be a good meow. Every Eansby ever. Every day. That's true. That's so true. And, you know, and completely unwarranted. We have no reason to think that we'd be a good meow, except that sounds like something that I could do. In this case, though, I think I probably would be a good meow. I forget what the meow was, but I know that the reason I thought it would be a good meow is because it seemed to involve a lot of, like, people interaction. This is kind of a crazy idea. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hi. Hey, guys. How you doing? My name's Eric. I'd like to welcome you all to a very sensual and exciting episode of Fawking with Tamus. Fawking with Pamus Teeple. Am I playing an instrument? No. I'm not. No way. Not now, not ever. Okay, so listen. In this live stream, I'd like to discuss with you the matter of closeness. A lot of people are afraid of closeness. They think, hey, if I get too close, maybe they'll see my pores. Sure, closeness can be scary. For example, what in the world is that thing, you might say? Eric, you're too close. We don't want to look at that thing. Ew. That's gross. It's true. Closeness is gross. But you know, for everyone who's afraid of closeness, there are a few of us who know how to be intimate. I'm one. We are called Knights of Great Intimacy. Our moments are sensual. Our minutes are tender. Our hours are juicy. Our days sexual. We are the guild of the close ones, born many millennia ago to lead mankind into the world of closeness. Sometimes I can be very close, but also invisible. You can't see me, but I'm still here. Where? In your ears. You might say, Eric, can you please get out of my ears? To which I reply, I'm already too deep in. I can't find my way back out. Oh wait, never mind. There's the exit. It's just behind me. The exit was behind me the whole time. I don't know why I couldn't find it at first. Wow, I'm losing viewers? You don't like intimate time with Eric? God. I really think that we should all come together in harmony and explore our sensuality on tomorrow's episode of The Tenderness of Dew. Dew glistens on gossamer wings. Here at Dew Time, we like to explore a few specific topics. We like to explore glisten. We like to explore wetness. We like to explore early morning sunshine. That's where the dew is droppiest. Hi, welcome to Dew Talk. I hope you've flown in today on a set of gossamer wings. I'm Barry, and I'm going to be your spiritual guide today as we talk a little bit more about what it means to incorporate the spirit of dew into your life. So first, let's take a deep breath. I want you to imagine yourself just water vapor, alright, just floating around in the air. I want you to feel the condensation point hit. Oh, it's getting colder. Oh. And now you've coalesced. What are you? A droplet. A dew droplet. Let your head fall. And when you raise it, let that rising head be the symbol of the rising sun as the morning sunlight comes in to strike you dewdrop, and you, like a prism, shoot light out in every direction. There. Now we're ready to talk dew. So what happened there is, in our everyday lives, we forget to be in the moment. Each of us, if we're paying good enough attention, are constantly feeling strong emotions. And at the same time, we can get caught up in that turbulent, topsy-turvy world where things are happening around us. And it's like they're making us mad, they're making us sad, they're making us happy. We need to find a way, and everybody does. There's nothing against these other people. They're not trying to harm us. They're just bringing around us their own instabilities, their own problems. Whenever anybody experiences a psychic wound, a scar, a pain that runs deep, that's going to express as fear in their day-to-day life. And we're going to see them acting out in given behaviors. Our job is not to judge them for this. It's not to condemn them for this. But it is our job to protect ourselves. And that's why when you live the way of the dew, you bring your hands together and say, I am a prism. Light flows from me in all directions. And all of a sudden, that negativity, that heat, that bad energy the other person was bringing, it's washed away like shadow before the sunrise. So a lot of you have written in and said that my promise that if you manifested about dew, involving some dew, you did it in the way I indicated in the last video. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it back, that you could get your wish fulfilled. And a lot of you wrote in and said you tried it and it didn't work. A lot of people are asking me, why? What did I do wrong? Well, it starts, remember, with knowing the do within. Until we truly know the do within, we're not going to be able to manifest our will upon the world. Let me tell you how well manifesting works for me. Yesterday, I manifested a solution to a long-standing problem. So, I'd read this book series. There's 6 books in the series. I read 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And last night I said, universe, whatever way it is, whatever, I don't even know. I can just tell. I just feel it in the air. I will have that book by sunset tomorrow. Now, I went to sleep, though. Here's the thing. I didn't go to sleep with doubt in my heart. I went to sleep knowing it was true. So for those of you who didn't mark, you didn't know well enough. You believed. Belief is a step below knowing. Now, at the bottom level of spiritual development, you want. At the next level, you plan. At the next level, you think. Okay? At the next level, you want again. But it's a different kind of wanting. And that's a big part of the problem. People want in different ways. But that's illusion. We all want the same thing. The way the dewdrop is a way of reflecting the negative energies and of compiling the positives. When you know with all of your heart, with every emotion in your face, with every bit of conviction and earnestness you have, when you know beyond any doubt that what you want will be, that's when the manifesting happens. And today, what did I do? I was driving down to a local coffee shop, and I noticed, I got stopped at a red light, what was right next to me? The public library. And I went in there and I said, I'd like the 5th book of this series, please. And they said, you can't have it. We don't have it. We don't have it. It's already been checked out. And I said, I really wanted that book. I thought I was going to get it today. I manifested it last night. And she said, well, the day's still early. I said, you know what? You're right. So I went to the mall to go to a bookstore. I walked around. I was shocked to discover there are no more bookstores anywhere. Well, my chance of manifesting today seems nil. But did doubt enter my heart? Oh, I knew I'd get that book somehow, some way. So I was just like, well, I guess I just go home. Maybe I should stop by Mom's and drop off some pot roast. I have this leftover pot roast in the car. It's been there a few days, but Mom won't probably notice. Anyway, that was when I remembered, wait a second, don't I have a copy of that book at my mom's house? And I drove over there and squealed in with my tires and said, Mom, where's copy 5 of that book that I was looking for that I told you about a lot of times before? She said, oh, I'm sorry, give it away to the Goodwill. I thought to myself, oh, wow, it's crazy. Who knows how it's going to manifest? I know it's going to happen before sunset today. And so then I went to the Goodwill to see if they still had it. And it had been sold already, unfortunately. But I just got more excited because I had believed 100%. I know it's going to work out. And then after that, I still had to eat lunch. So I went home, had some pasta salad, and my husband came home. And he said, "Guess what I've got for you?" I was like, "I know what it is. It's a book probably." He pulled out a book, but it wasn't the book I wanted. He said, "I couldn't find the book you wanted anywhere, but I got you this book instead." And
I was disappointed at first, but I started reading it, and do you know that it is one of the best books I have ever read? So, what happened there is I was manifesting, and it worked, but I didn't trust my manifesting enough. I got the book I really wanted, not the book I thought I wanted. That's what it means to truly spiritually be connected with things. So yeah, for those of you who challenge manifesting and say it doesn't work, it does. It's just a matter of you're not believing hard enough. You got to believe so hard that it makes that qualitative change from believing to knowing. Then it always happens exactly as you envision it, just like it did for me. Now, if you'll excuse me a moment, I've got to go outside and get a beverage. I'm really dying of thirst, and the doctor said I need to not die of thirst. That was one of the ways I might die, and I should avoid it. So I'm going to try to avoid it. Now, what's that require of me? Well, it could require many things, or it could require a few. But one thing I'm going to require is that I provide you some sort of meaningful entertainment in my absence. Because I know without me and my entertaining ways, all of you are completely lost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a little music for you. And I'm going to say, hey, I hope you enjoy this. I appreciate you being here. We, each of us, are fountains of dew. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be right back. Short intermission for me to go get a drink. Yeah. I like beverages, what can I say?
Enemies outraged at how they missed a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all petition directors and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Julie shares our limits. Her limits are what she shares. Only Julie will do. Only Julie will do. Jerry shares 4 minutes. He just can't do things like they do. Julie always thought that she should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot to buy soon and not, although she got recalled. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all petition directors and call it destruction of the whole damn world.
30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I wasted half my days trying on another's way, but who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my day
Everybody knows the key. 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing it wrong. Okay, that was Martha Wilgers and the New Hampton Agricultural Society's Barbershop Quartet with their song If Jesus Were People. Oddly made it up to number 17 in the Slovakian pop charts. That's how we have it here on WRegularmusic.com radio station. I'm enjoying some live chat with radio aficionados Utter Self, Kasha Triadharma, Winston's mom, Zaylen Black, and Utter Self, who are here along with Zandy, James, Samuel, and Sky Gear to discuss, of course, matters of great relevance and importance regarding this radio show and radio program. We also do have a call-in feature in which you too can call into the radio program here and make this radio program not merely a music radio program, but a call-in talk show program by visiting the following link, whereby.com/Tommy. Note, if you actually call me, I probably won't answer the phone. But you can talk to me here instead and join me here on my important, very important radio program. Radio program broadcast is right here. If anybody would like to come into the radio program broadcast room with me via the autonomy room, you're welcome to do so. Yes, we are here. We are funded by viewers like you, and we are playing some of the more interesting selections of world music that we've discovered in our multiculturally themed search for different sounds of the world. David, what do you have to say about this? Yes, the New Hampton Agricultural Society's Women's Quartet is just delightful. It's a local organization, but they've got real talent, and the style they take in approaching these numbers is unusual. They sound like a 50-year-old man. Yes, that is odd, isn't it? You wouldn't expect a barbershop quartet to have only one vocal and for it to sound like a man when it's comprised of older ladies. How do you think they achieve that sound? Well, apparently they ask an older gentleman to do their vocal parts for them. Older by my standards, but younger by their standards. So they don't actually sing their own songs. No, they sublet that out. They subcontract it. Fascinating. All right. So I believe you've brought another selection along that you'd like to play us today. You said you found this one in the country of Uruguay. Yes, that's right, Uruguay. This is a Uruguayan band, and they go by the name of well, it translates into English, the giant jungle spiders, but I forget what the word is in Spanish. It's a kind of giant jungle spider, I guess, that will jump on somebody and bite them, and then drag them back into a cave where it will interrogate them, and based on the person's answers, the person is either let go with set loose with a few, like a few hundred pesos and a rope, or is just killed and eaten, depending on the answers. So anyway, I forget what the Spiders' name is called, but this next song is by that band, and I gotta say, David, I was really surprised when you first played this for me because I wouldn't have guessed that this was from Uruguay. I would have thought maybe Australia. It does have a distinctly Australian vibe, but you know, the Uruguayans explained to me that this is entirely in one of the native tongues of the region, and the apparent sounding of English words there is a complete actual coincidence that these expressions in their native tongues mean totally different things than the equivalent sounding things in English mean. Well, let me just shut up and play a song. It really is remarkable what a small group of nearly naked natives, the kind of music they can make with just sticks and rocks and stuff. It's astonishing the sound variety they get.
I'd just been sad, I gave up long ago. Was sometimes mad, but bad was all I'd ever know. Since sad was all I'd been, I'd only mope and pout until I met a man named Ken who showed me how to whisper shout.
I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best.
I'd just been sad, I gave up long ago. Was sometimes mad, but bad was all I'd ever know. Since sad was all I'd been, I'd only mope and pout until I met a man named Ken who showed me how to whisper shout.
I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. I'm rich,
I'd just been sad, I gave up long ago.
I'm the greatest,
Was sometimes mad, but bad was all I'd ever known.
I'm the greatest,
Since sad was all I'd been, I'd only mope and pout
I'm the best.
till I met a man named Ken who showed me how to whisper shout.
I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. I'm rich, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest.
Okay, so that song is the song I should have dedicated to Zandy in her time of blue moods. I should have said before that this one goes out to Zandy to remind her that she's the best, she's rich, she's the greatest, and she knows how to whisper shout. But since I failed to send it out to Zandy in time, instead I'm going to give her this song, which is explicitly about an ENFJ, and I want Zandy to try to remember to channel her inner Electra and to be the big pimp she naturally is. That's a good thing. I'm not saying you're actually out there prostituting women for your own gain. I mean it in the metaphorical sense, you know. You've got swagger.
Electra, goddess of the night, heathen of electric light, Amber now got reason to regret. first. She makes her connection to mortality, takes her direction as morality, fakes her confession circumstantially. She starts a fight. Electra, goddess of the night. Night. Bring on the future, bring on the now, bring it on. Show us where, tell us when, show us how. Electra, goddess of the night. Electric, with artificial light. Nightfall brings Electra's time to reign. Heathen chant Electra's name. She makes her connection to mortality, takes her direction as morality, fakes her confession circumstantially. She starts a fight. Electra, goddess. Electra, goddess of the night.
That was the Stephen Mabry Experience with their hit single, The Electra Goddess of the Night. Well, relative hit single. It was popular, briefly, among the scientists stationed in Antarctica. And that's where I heard of it, because my sister's boyfriend, his girlfriend was one of those scientists. So that's how I heard about it. When I say scientists, I mean it was like two people, and one of them really didn't like it very much, but that one of them did. That was the thing. That's why it's got. That's why it's got. It's got. Oh, actually, it's 676 views. Most of them are mine, I'm sure, but nevertheless. I was hoping it was going to be like 5. For most of my shit. It's like 5 views. Thanks, Andy. You're a gentlewoman, a scholar, and a reader of fine literature. Coca-Cola is so zesty, It's zesty like a snappy retort. Zesty is a snappy retort. If I were going to have maybe like a spicy chicken salad on a menu, my description of it would be, zesty is a snappy retort. And then people say to me, it was zesty, but I think zesty as a snappy retort was overselling it. It wasn't that zesty. And snappy retorts are why they embody the very spirit of zestiness. Zest. Things that are zesty. If that were a Family Feud category, alright, let me figure out, what are the top answers on the board? Let's play Family Feud. That seems fun. Are there enough people here to play Family Feud? I want to play Family Feud. Alright, things that are zesty. I'll come up with the question and the answer, and then whoever gets the number one answer, if they want, they can come up with the question and answer. If they don't, I will continue to do it. Things that are zesty. What are some things that are zesty? I don't even really think of anything that's obviously zesty. Zandy obviously is zesty. Zesty Zandy's festive candy. Zesty Zandy's festive candy. That's a good band name. Zesty Zandy's festive candy? It's a great band name. Alright. Let's write a poem. Zesty Zandy's quest for candy. Bested Andy's restless shanty, I guess, is all I have at the moment. Zesty Zandy's quest for candy, bested Andy's restless shanty when they fought for primacy of all, both sought for primacy, though Andy thought their chemistry fanned by sufficient some reciprocity might grandly make verbosity in hopes that such ferocity attains enough velocity to render her philosophy regarding cosmetology into an urgent into a quick apology as Zandy's new ontology picks up on something ecology like sexual attraction. There, I wrote a poem. Zesty's Andy's quest for candy bested Andy's restless shanty when they fought for primacy, though Andy thought their chemistry, fanned by some reciprocity, might grandly make verbosity. It's in hopes that such ferocity attains enough philosophy to render her philosophy regarding cosmetology into a quick apology, as Zandy's new ontology picks up on something ecology, like sexual attraction. What do you think? Pretty good poem, huh? I'll read it again. Why not? Sure. Zesty's Andy's quest for candy bested Andy's restless shanty when they fought for primacy, though Andy thought their chemistry, fanned by some reciprocity, might grandly make verbosity in hopes that such ferocity attains enough velocity to render her philosophy regarding cosmetology into a quick apology, as Andy's new ontology picks up on something ecology, like sexual attraction. Maybe I just put colon here. So this is a story, Zandy, of you getting with a guy named Andy. Okay? This is how you meet your future husband, Zandy. Thing is, I need to be able to do it in one breath. This is a good test for breath control. Who can read this whole thing out loud in one breath? I'm going to try again. I was unable to do it that last time. Zesty's Andy's quest for candy bested Andy's restless shanty when they fought for primacy, though Andy thought their chemistry, fanned by some reciprocity, might grandly make verbosity in hopes that such ferocity attains enough velocity to render her philosophy regarding cosmetology into a quick apology, as Andy's new ontology picks up on something ecology, sexual attraction. You know what that means, sexual attraction, Cloud? It means that one person desires to make humpage upon another. You know what I'm saying? Make humpage. It means ride a camel. If you like to ride camels, you're very, very sexual. I like to ride camels. Ooh la la, camels are fun. This person, this character here, her name is Camel Lover. Ooh, I like camels. Camels are fun. Have you guys ever seen any camels? I like to look at them. It's like, wow, look at that camel. God, I want a camel. I like to rub its hump. Come here, little camel. Here, camel. I say. It comes over here, and I'm just like, oh, you're so cute. I love you. I call that person camel loving girl. She's distinct from other characters in that she loves camels a lot. That's her quirk. That's her odd quirk, you know. If you love odd quirks, you'll love Camel loving girl. Okay, I'm in the autonomy room. If anybody would like to come talk to me, you're welcome to. If you want to come in and say, Hey Eric, how you doing? I want you to answer a question. Say, okay. If you want to come in here and talk about things that are wapaw or things that are so pitted, that'd be fine too. If you don't want us to come in here and talk, that's fine, Zandy. If you like to come and talk with your voice and tell your story to the live stream, tell your sad, sad story, I know I would like to hear it. If you don't feel comfortable telling your whole story to the live stream, well, it's time to get beyond that fear. You know, it's just like Yami says in Black Clover. Time to surpass your limits. On the other hand, I don't want Sandy to feel FE guilty for not showing up, so please be aware that that statement was infused with a risible and lighthearted humor that you can safely take away with you regardless of your choice. Don't burden me with your expectations. I am Zandy in these old occasions. I've got my ways of solving things. I like to go outside and play with strings. That's how you solve things, Zandy? You go outside and play with strings? What are you, a cellist? R.I.P. Zana? Who's Zana? Has Bracco commented or posted anything publicly about me stealing back my gaze? No? Nobody's heard anything about it? Yeah, I took it back. Oh, I'm tired. Who wants to play chess? Is that a Family Feud question? I'll give you a Family Feud question. Things that people say be careful what you wish for about. It's hard to think of Family Feud questions, huh? Or how about aphorisms meaning don't get too confident. Expressing in some sense, don't be too confident. That would be one of them. You know, like be careful what you wish for. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. It ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. You decide when the fight is over. You want to destroy someone, huh? You want to play me at chess? I'll play you chess, Cloud. You'd probably destroy me right now. Put a link. I'll play it over here. And then you can suck my dreams and hopes dry. You can treat me like a vampire's victim. Hey, what are you doing? I think you're supposed to suck my blood. Yeah, that's by Lenny Kravitz, Andy. Cause it ain't over till it's over. Cloud, we here at Anal Wreckage Anonymous understand how easy it is to fall back into old habits. And I appreciate that you brought it up here rather than just doing it yourself at home. But no, we're here to help you, not to shove a wrench up your ass. Cause baby, over till it's over. Yeah, I'm Lenny Kravitz, Kravitz Lennon Dresser. Oh yeah, Lenny Kravitz? You sure about that? You want a piece of me? Lenny Kravitz wants a piece of me? Why? Because I insulted him? When did I insult him? When I sang that song the other night in the live stream? He heard that and he wants to kick my ass, huh? I wasn't even really talking shit about you, Lenny Kravitz. Although if you want me to, I could. I mean, put it this way. You're pretty good, but I don't really listen to you or have you on any of my playlists. And that's not because you're old. Like, I do have old music on my playlist. It's because nothing you did ever quite made the top layer cut. No, only the very topmost layer of shit makes my playlist. So you're almost there too. You have a lot of good songs, a lot of interesting songs, but not songs that I would qualify as things I want to listen to over and over again. I'll fast forward through them. So, you know, pretty good job though. As far as artists go, I wouldn't shit in your mailbox. You know, I would say, yeah, I totally respect what he did. You know, he did the best he could with being an artist and was mostly more successful than many of his contemporaries aesthetically. Forget about the monetary or success lack thereof, doesn't matter to me. Just talking about aesthetically. Because music is an art form. Sounds like someone sleep deprived. Zayden Black, how do you always tell so much about me like that? You can really... You're a good SI reader. You always nail me on this kind of shit. I am sleep deprived. Is that obvious? I mean, I'm also beat deprived. You're not offering me any borscht. That may correlate relatively strongly with sleep deprivation, but I can get silly when I'm not sleep deprived too, for sure. So it's not only sleep deprived that makes me silly. Hi. It is so nice to see you. Cloud, I offered to play you. You wouldn't put the link. Oh, right, because you're not. Doi! Sorry, Cloud. Consider me completely schooled on that one, okay? You win completely on that. Yeah. My bad, Cloud. Here's the trophy. You win that exchange completely, 100%. There you go. Talk about me fucking it up badly, right? That's such a TI mistake. Not noticing the contradiction. Boy, oh boy. Discord, why are you making all these updates? I just opened you like yesterday. What are you, the most happy update monkey in Update Town, or what? No, Cloud's right. My brain was melted. That's the best explanation for it right there. I totally contradicted myself and didn't even notice it. Goodbye, other self.
It doesn't seem to be working, so I don't know what to tell you. It's taking too long. It's pissing me off. Making me angry. Like David Hasselhoff does to big titted chicks on the beach. Meow meow meow. Meow meow meow. It's meow meow time in the meow meow. I don't see any meow. Where is it? In general? Where'd you put it, Cloud? Where'd you put it? Put it, Cloud. Oh, let me see. New mentions. Announcements. What are these things? This isn't that. Where is the link, Cloud? Which one is it in? General? Typology? God. You're making me like, nah. Where is it? Cloud. Yo. Yo, where the link? I said, yo, where the link? That's using youth culture talk, so maybe you'll understand me better now. You did not post it in general chat. I was there in general chat. Okay, now you put it there in my message that I just got from you. Wait, where's my messages? What happened to my messages? What happened to the message you just sent me? It's missing. Where's my messages? Oh, here. I found it. Yes, I want to go there. Okay. Now, I'm going to meow that. I'll join this game. And I'm going to meow this. And here we go. Host Eric. I get to go first, huh? Alright, well, I'll go like this. Playing chess, having fun, it's exciting adventure for everyone. Playing chess, having fun, wouldn't you like to play some chess? If you like chess, like I like chess, you'll know the best way to impress is just to dress up like Bess and say hello again. Okay. Why are you being so difficult? Jeez, it's frustrating me. Alright, fine, I'm gonna go like this. I don't care even anymore. It's just like, fuck it. If you ever would like to know a true feeling of love and adventure, then come with me reeling down the pathway. We'll never forget the pathway to adventure and the pathway I bet. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly, does your snatch stink?
Well said, Eric. Well said indeed. Why, thank you. Okay, you're a sneaky kind of someone. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, really. It's a little bit off-putting, isn't it? A little bit off-putting. You're putting me off-putting, okay? Which is never a good thing. All right, fine. I'll go like this. Mm-hmm. That took you a little bit by surprise, didn't it now, mister? Okay, well, that's interesting. Let's see what I should do. I guess I'm gonna have to take it. Okay. I'm gonna go here. Okay. Well, this is an interesting game, I must say. It's a challenging game. I feel like I'm holding on kind of by the skin of my teeth. Obviously, I've used more time than my opponent. I've used 2 minutes more time than he has. So, I guess that's another indication that I'm probably not winning the game. But,
There. That's better. There. That's better. What happened? Oh. Well, I lost. That was kind of fun. It wasn't terrible. It was a fairly pleasant experience.
Got a story about 10 years old. It's a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeb, turned 19, 4 years in and 3 kids weaned. Weary now and questioning the path. Agency out, pays his discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 found bourbon fun, likewise Doug at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. What he once thought would set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency out, pace is discretion. Locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Everybody's panicked about the kids. Lock them up with extra Dexedrine and mathematics to promote success, or to impose more unjust duress. Agency out, paces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression by parasites surviving while they feed their fear of dying. Yes, they feed upon the futures of the young.
Can you have sex?
Barry was kinda thinking, detectives in the parks. The Barry was kinda thinking, detectives in the parks. Once there was a girl named Jenny Sue, a teenage girl a lot like you. She lived in Florida, played some softball prematurely, had her last call. The day was clear and the sky was blue, so you don't need to fear what killed Jenny Sue, cause she came to the plate and she swung the bat and everybody heard a great big crack. Thunder. Right, dark. When sight returned to their eyes, they could only see a pair of charcoal thighs. Vinny's mom was shocked, of course, and sad. In fact, her life seemed mostly bad. She had loved her kid and kept her safe, and then all at once the kid had met her fate. And Mom was outraged. Mom was mad. Mom sought help from her brother Brad.
Assembly swine, one named, eyes begin to shine.
Is someone to blame? Barry was kinda thinking
To lock me inside,
the very worst kind of thinking.
keeping me from danger.
Detectives in the
Struck
parks.
by lightning on the range.
The very worst kind of thinking. Detectives in the parks. The very worst kind of thinking.
Detective on tight.
Detectives in the parks.
You can do that.
God damn it, we were promised a plague. Bodies in the street. So we had to flatten the curve. Not overburden healthcare, sir. But you see, it's been underburdened, gee, cause this COVID thing's been so exaggerated. We have been lied to, fooled, misguided, directed to the wrong side. Your cherry picking art is not gonna work. You don't know your stats, your data gathering methodologies are crap. Listen here, if you only test the sickest, fuck you think is gonna be the trick. Stupid and scared. COVID-19 destroy everything for the impression you bring. Stupid and scared. COVID-19 destroy everything for the impression you bring. Stupid and scared, scared and dumb. We swallow the gum. Destroy everything for the impression you bring. Stupid and scared. COVID-19. Destroy everything for the impression you bring.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is well, I mean, I know COVID's the worst it's ever been, right? Can we agree on that? That right now COVID's the worst it's ever been? Because if we agree on that, then we're not in any disagreement. My point was proven. The lockdown didn't work. You know, it's like I said the other day, at least currently there are 20,000 deaths in California attributed to COVID. Now, let's say that number were to jump to 200,000 or something. We still need to have answered the question of we still need to answer the question of we still need to put it in some sort of perspective. So how many people die a year in California? About 400,000. So even if COVID cost us 100,000 lives, what's normally costing 400,000 lives? And how many of those deaths are preventable with equally extreme measures? Okay, COVID is now worse, and theirs will be even worse after the holidays. So, this being despite 9 months of lockdowns. We need to implement strict COVID in order to prevent the spread of lockdowns. So, the problem is this. Let's say that in California we end up with 100,000 deaths. Will still probably end up about equal this year to normal because of so many lives saved from lack of accidents, lack of car crashes and stuff because people were at home so much more. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what the numbers show. But the fact is, even if the most nightmarish projections of COVID are correct, we still have to ask ourselves, shouldn't our response be proportional to our response to other things that kill people? So, 700,000 people died last year of AIDS. What should we do about that? It's a contagious disease. It's invisible. we can't know for sure when people leave the house if they have it or not. What should we do about it? I mean, why do you only care about people who die of COVID? I mean, people die of all kinds of things. Sometimes in large numbers. You know, this is the way of the world. How many people died in that tsunami that happened, that washed away that whole island? I mean, I think that questions about how it's progressed at this point are irrelevant, because it continues to allow us to avoid the core question. What's the appropriate response to things that kill us? We need to distinguish between different kinds of things that kill us and the risk that those behaviors or those deaths have of involving other people in some capacity, how we typically have responded, what are the net harms and benefits, and stuff like that. If you were asking me, have masks worked, have masks not worked, I don't know, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter, it's the wrong question. Right? It's totally the wrong question. So far, we've been letting people who frame things incorrectly run this matter, run the narrative. And so for you, what we ought to do is driven entirely by how COVID's progressing. Whereas, of course, that's the wrong question to ask. We need to set our frames first. What are the possible kinds of actions we can take? What are the costs of each of those kinds of actions? And why is a given kind of action to be preferred or justified over some other kind of action? So it's pretty important that we don't focus on the wrong questions as a consequence. It doesn't matter so it's skyrocketing right now. That's exactly what I said was going to happen. It's skyrocketing despite all the efforts, right? So do we really want to make more of the same kind of dumb efforts that have failed so far? And even if we do, why should we entrust that advocacy to anybody who believed in these lockdowns in the first place, since they've utterly failed by anybody's reckoning? Why don't we put somebody who's talking a little sense in charge of this? So I've got cards for anyone who wants one. Anyone want a reading? This is what my strategy here is. I'll do Rachel and me first, I guess. It's going to be things you think you know, but you should actually let go of. Things you don't think are important that you should actually recognize the importance of. And things that you need to learn. Those are the three categories, okay? So, here we go. So for Rachel, this is things she thinks are important but that she should let go of. Priestess of Wands. I'd say that's displaying competency in TE. She thinks it's important, but it's not. She should let go. Okay. Now, this one is things she thinks are not important, but are important. 3 of discs. She thinks it's important to take on the role of an apprentice when she can actually own a different position. In other words, she doesn't need to be as deferential as she is. And then lastly, things about which she still needs to learn.
Four of Cups. I guess how to handle multiplicity and emotion, like how to deal with keeping her emotions, compartmentalizing, I guess I would call that compartmentalizing. Okay, so that's for Rachel. That's for Rachel. And I'm going to now do one for me. Same thing. Okay, so this is something that I think is important, but I really should let go of. 10 of Cups. Some sort of singularity to worship, you know. I think it's important to have. Actually, I don't really think I think that. I would say that would be. Oh, actually, you're right. It's something I think that's important, but I should let go of. Right. I do think that. Okay, I'll have to think about that. Now, this one is something I think is unimportant, but actually is important. Two of discs. Two of discs. I don't know what that one is. Anybody know what the two of discs is? Winston's mom? You know about that kind of stuff. So that's what I think. That's what I don't think is important, but actually is. The first one is what I think is important, but actually isn't. And then this one is what I need to learn more about. Three of Wands. SI, I guess. Anybody else want a reading from me like that? One of those 3 cards with those things. You might call your misleading belief, your misleading contempt, and your area of future growth. Anybody? No? Okay. I guess I'll go then. Why not? Okay, I'll do you, Milk Safari. Alright, here's your misleading precious. You know, this is the thing you think is important, but really isn't. 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. You think it's important to stab at the walls, but it's not really that important. Okay. Now, this is your misleading contempt. The thing that you don't really respect, but that you should respect more. Seven of discs. Pregnant ladies sitting in watermelon patches. You don't have enough value for pregnant ladies sitting in watermelon patches, Milk Safari. I call that, like, you know, letting things grow in their time. You need to let things grow in their time, Milk Safari. And lastly, here's the thing you need to learn more stuff about. 3 of Cups. No, 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. Oh, right. You need to learn to handle regret better, okay? Remember, even though 2 of your cups have spilled, 3 of them have not yet spilled. And you still have a lot of opportunity to drink more from your cups, okay? There you go. You devalue the process. Are you sure you don't degrade and desecrate it? I kind of think, Milk Safari, you might befoul the process with your rancid malignancy. Stop befouling my process with your rancid malignancy. Somebody like, as you're in the middle of writing, like you're typing or something, and a loved one comes over. Can I get you something to drink? You've been at this for a while. Stop befouling my process with your disruptive malignancy. Turn your head back. Hilarious. Oh yeah. Anybody else want a fossil fuel reading? I mean a tarot card reading? I'm doing misleading precious, misleading contempt, and thing to learn about. I could also do, just to make it a little bit more interesting, I could do one card that says the thing that you're right about that people doubt you in. Okay, we'll do that one too. So it's called your misleading belief, misleading contempt, misleading perception, and your area of learning. Or I guess you could say your misleading concept. Just say you mistakenly believe yourself to be knowledgeable enough in an area, but you're not. Anybody? The misleaders? Anyone want a misleader 4-pack? No? Caches or Dharma? You don't want a misleader 4-pack? You sure? Probably do you some good. Ever since you ran out of weed, you've been a bear to live with. Alright. I'm going to do Nicholas Watson since he said round tarot cards. Wow. Nicholas Watson, this is your misleading. This is your misleading precious. Three of Cups. Party time. You think partying's too important, Nicholas Watson. Now this is your misleading contempt. This is something you have contempt for that you shouldn't. The world. You have contempt for singular universal ideas and you shouldn't. And then next is misleading, what's it called? Misleading perception. This is what people under it, where you're right and other people are wrong. So regarding this, regarding waterfalls and group bathing, you are right, other people are wrong. And then lastly, the thing where you think you're knowledgeable enough but you really aren't. wall stabbing. You need to practice your wall stabbing. You think you're good enough at it already? You're not. Wall stab harder. Wall stab harder. Okay, I gotta go to bed. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted and deeply ashamed of myself. Why, Eric? Oh. Gosh, I guess it's a cumulative impact of 5 decades of continual failure. Might be part of the problem. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic, but you know, even people with the best attitude occasionally get discouraged, and right now, Cenk Uygur. I think I know who you're talking about. Did he debate Ben Shapiro one time about, I think, healthcare? If he's who I think he is, ENFJ. Almost for sure. If I'm thinking of the right guy. Trump saves what? His fingernail clippings? That is gross. Why would he do that? What is he going to use them for? Oh, he's going to make an overcoat out of fingernail clippings. Well, that's an interesting idea, but not really a powerful argument in favor of him being a good president. Unusual, sure. Not everything unusual is good, KD. You need to get that through your head. You need to get that through your head right now. Okay? We're playing Get Through Head today. Because you need to get that through your head. Hey, Milk Safari, you need to get it through your head. Just get it through your head. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of things being stuck at the border of your head. It's like just get it all the way through. Stop fucking around, you know? Come on in, kitty. You wild kitty, you. You crazy kitty. With your crazy notions of truth and justice. What am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with this crazy kitty and her crazy notions of truth and justice? What a very special kitty friend. Very special indeed. No, I haven't gotten around to looking at his video or responding to it. I was going to, you know. Lots of people suffer in lots of different ways. Some people cry and moan for days. Others instead object quite vociferously. I suppose that I anger those who want to be coddled and wrong.
But you know that each of us surely are weak and flimsy as a tissue. Though we may act out in ways that cause an issue, try not to ontologically condemn. After all, you're just like them, and so am I. When bigots bake a cake, they too discover their fate. Ain't no goddamn bit of yeast at the store. While you're thinking how awful they are and stinking wrong about guitar and everything else that matters, experientially they're feeling blue like you or me would in a similar circumstance, and they're aghast. And there are those who look askance at them for being somehow inadequate. You know, people live up to their expectations that others set for them. At least they do, and those expectations afford them a benefit of the doubt. And when they fuck up, they won't be destroyed. People are fearful of failure, but I try to reassure, I understand the necessary freedom to make mistakes, and that it's okay and in keeping with span to wonder whether you today. Katie, the political atmosphere is not what you think. Yeah, there are power cells, groups who have agendas as well. There's no disputing that. I've never tried to, in fact, but the way you see the world is wrong. The way you see the world is wrong. World is wrong. Nobody wants to kill millions with vaccines in the name of control and climate change. Some people may argue ridiculous stuff like that sometimes. It's true in debate. Sometimes people run and throw, though it's hateful to their own species. They indicate the natural world ought be preferred. But I don't think it's true. Anybody's trying to eliminate the human population because it makes sense, I suppose, in the sense that there are those who are objecting to so many people, and populations quite difficult to manage in keeping with autonomy. But even so, I wonder, how deep does this go? Seems they've got a lot of people on board, yo.
looks more like hysteria objectively. You'd have to show me quite a bit of confirming evidence. I wouldn't require an absolute direct proof, but you'd have to build at least a strong circumstantial case. I don't think any such case exists, therefore you shouldn't believe that shit, and it makes me question your wisdom and judgment about statuses. See that? See what I'm saying? Christ. Cloud calls me the Antichrist. I say there's nothing wrong with you, and Christ says something is indeed, because Cloud has mistaken two things, one a level of identity and the other behavior. So I've never said people don't fuck up. I never said it wasn't possible to sin. In fact, I've pointed out before that just like everybody else, you and I are fallible men. But that's the kind of bullshit I'm used to. I'm an expert at spotting that. I'm really good at explaining it too, that you simply inflated stuff, and that's a fact. People find this frustrating and bad. It makes them feel threatened and sad, but I can't help it that they aren't very good at thinking. It's not my fault. I wasn't their teacher. They were never in my debate class. They weren't a leacher. And they never enjoyed the benefits of my wisdom at a very young age, which might have saved them from their fates. Their fates are phases where they cannot understand, but insist that they do. Yeah, Cloud, I'm talking to you. Oh yeah. Stop being a hippie. Would a hippie school your ass so mercilessly? I don't think so. It's a good point, Eric. It's a really good point. I think it's unlikely that a hippie would school his ass so mercilessly. It's really, it's pretty much wins the argument. Fair to say. What's that guy's name? I'm Alfred Hitchcock. Hit your coat to my cock, baby, and call me in the morning. Close. La. -3. Pure. I probably fucked that up. Probably too loud levels. Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? Ain't no saving tomorrow when today's already yesterday. Alright, good night, everybody. I love you with all of my heart. And I hope that you encounter good fortune in your goings about in the world.